Liam, you know my student and friend Clara from Germany? She moved here recently for an office job.
Yeah, I remember her. What about her?
Well, she had a really great moment today.
Oh, yeah? What happened?
So she went to this coffee shop near her office, and she ordered her coffee directly in English. But the amazing part is, she didn't even think about it first. No rehearsing the sentence, no translating in her head, nothing. She just said it.
Wow, that's great.
Right? She told me she never thought she'd be able to just say it like that, without preparing every word first. But she did it.
That's honestly the perfect story to start with, because that's exactly what we're talking about today. How she got there, and how you, listening right now, can get there too.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Real English Podcast. I'm Sophia.
And I'm Liam. So glad you're here with us today.
And we're talking about something bigger. That gap between the English in your head and the English that actually comes out of your mouth.
And we're going to walk through exactly how Clara closed that gap, step by step.
Right. So we're going to share Clara's story, some of our own, some simple tools, and some small steps you can try today, this week, to close that gap a little bit. Just like she did. Clara wasn't always this confident. A few months ago, she told me about a moment when she completely froze.
Oh yeah? What happened?
She was in a work meeting. She knew exactly what she wanted to say, and she'd even said it perfectly in her head before the meeting started.
Very confident in her head.
Right. But then it was her turn to speak, and she told me it felt like there were 10 voices in her brain at once. Grammar, vocabulary, don't sound stupid, all shouting over each other.
Like a crowded room with no clear door.
Exactly that. So what came out was something short and safe. Just, yes, I agree. When actually, she had a full opinion with 3 points.
And afterward, she probably thought,
Why didn't I just say what I was thinking? She told me that exact sentence, actually.
and that's really the heart of today's episode. Clara already had decent English sitting inside her. The real problem wasn't the language. It was everything else. The fear, the noise, the pressure. So let's talk about that.
Yes, so let's get practical. This is where it gets good, because these are the actual small habits that changed things for Clara.
Tool number 1, shrink the sentence. A lot of learners try to speak like they're writing an essay, big and polished sentences, and then they get stuck halfway through.
For example, in your head you might think, I have recently been reflecting on how I could improve my professional communication skills. Beautiful sentence, also way too much pressure for a spoken moment. Clara told me she used to build sentences exactly like that in her head, every single time.
So instead, just say, I want to communicate better at work. It's same idea, way less weight.
Ask yourself, what's the small version of this thought? Instead of, I've been feeling quite overwhelmed with my responsibilities lately, you can just say, work has been a lot lately.
You're not writing a report, you're talking to a person. That one shift alone made a big difference for Clara.
Tool number 2, use bridge words. These are small reactions that buy you time and keep the conversation moving while your brain catches up.
Things like, really? Wow, that makes sense. I get that. They're tiny, but powerful.
For example, if a coworker says, I barely slept last night, you can say, oh no, really? What happened?
You reacted, you asked a question, and you didn't need a big sentence to do it. That's already a real conversation.
Clara actually told me this was her favorite trick because it felt almost too easy to count as practicing English. But it worked. Tool number 3. Build a small set of ready-made phrases. These are sentences you practice so often they become automatic, almost like muscle memory.
For work or study. Sorry, could you say that again? Can I ask something quickly? I'm not sure I followed that last part.
For daily life, can I get a coffee, please? Do you have anything you'd recommend? Is there another option? This, by the way, is exactly the phrase Clara used at the coffee shop this morning.
No way, that's the one?
That's the one. She'd practiced it so many times over the past few weeks that it just came out automatically. No thinking required.
You don't need 50 of these. Even 5 or 6 solid ones can completely change how confident you feel walking into a conversation, just like it did for her.
And remember, a short sentence that actually leaves your mouth beats a perfect sentence that stays stuck in your head every single time.
Okay, so we have the tools Clara used, but where did she actually practice them without the pressure of a real high-stakes conversation?
This is the part I love, honestly. Let's talk about low-pressure practice. Low pressure just means a relaxed setting. No test, no audience, nobody grading you.
One easy method is narrate your day out loud in English while you do normal tasks. When you're making dinner, you can say, "Okay, now I'm chopping the onions. After this, I'll watch one episode of something before bed."
When you're walking somewhere, say, I'm heading to the store. I'm a bit tired today, but I'm proud I'm still practicing. It feels a little odd at first, but it trains your mouth to actually produce English instead of just recognizing it. Clara actually did this on her walk to the office every morning for weeks before that coffee shop moment.
Another option is send voice messages to a friend who knows you're practicing. You can literally say, "Hey, I'm working on my spoken English. Is it okay if I send you some short voice notes sometimes?"
A good friend will usually be glad to help. That was actually me for Clara. It really was. She'd send me these tiny 30-second voice notes almost every day, just talking about nothing in particular.
And if you don't have that person yet, you still have a mirror. The mirror has never once laughed at anyone's accent.
Stand there, look at yourself, and say 1 or 2 honest sentences about your day. Like, today I felt, today I learned, today I want.
Think of it like practicing dance moves alone in your room before you actually dance in public. You build the confidence quietly first, so it feels more natural later in front of people.
That quiet, everyday practice is really the whole secret behind Clara's great achievement this morning.
But there's something else that needs to shift too. Not just what you say out loud, but what you say to yourself. That inner voice.
So many learners have a really harsh inner critic. Your mind always say, my English is bad. I always mess this up. I sound stupid. Clara told me hers used to say exactly that, on repeat. And if that's the soundtrack playing in your head, of course you're going to hesitate before speaking.
So let's soften that voice, just a little. Instead of, my English is bad, try, my English is a work in progress. That phrase means something isn't finished yet, but it's actively being built. There's real movement happening.
And instead of saying, I can't speak, try, I'm still learning to speak more freely. Or simply, one sentence today is still a win. That's actually the exact phrase Clara started using.
Progress means moving forward, step by step, even slowly. And every single time you produce one real sentence out loud, that's a step forward. Whether it felt smooth or clumsy, small steps like these are exactly what added up to Clara's moment this morning.
So here's a small challenge for today. And it's the exact same one Clara did over and over before her big win. Say one real sentence in English, just one, to another person, to your mirror, or as a voice note to yourself.
Something like, I feel nervous, but I want to speak more. Or, I listened to a podcast today to practice. Don't wait for a perfect, dramatic moment. Just pick an ordinary moment and say something small and true.
And if you want, drop a comment finishing this sentence. The moment I froze in English was... When you write that down, you're facing the exact thing you usually avoid, just like Clara eventually did.
You're not hiding from it anymore. And we'll be reading those comments and thinking, we're all figuring this out together.
All right, Liam. Before we wrap up, let's do our word recap. A few key phrases from today, nice and slow.
Let's do it. First one, freeze. To freeze means your brain or body suddenly stops working from surprise or fear. For example, I knew the answer, but I froze the second she looked at me. Or, Clara froze during her first meeting, even though she'd prepared for days. Your knowledge is there, but nothing comes out.
Next, bridge words. These are small reaction phrases you use to keep a conversation going while you think of your next sentence. Things like, really? That makes sense. I get that. For example, Clara used bridge words to buy herself time until she found the right sentence.
And finally, ready-made phrases. These are sentences you've practiced so many times they come out automatically, without much thinking. For example, I keep a few ready-made phrases in my back pocket for awkward moments. Or, that coffee order was one of Clara's ready-made phrases, and it finally paid off.
And that's our word recap for today. If it's helpful, rewind this part and repeat the sentences out loud with us. That's genuinely one of the best ways to lock them in.
So remember, you don't have to fix everything today. One honest sentence, spoken out loud, is already progress. That's genuinely all Clara was doing for weeks before this morning.
Exactly. Your English is a work in progress, and that's completely fine. That's how it's supposed to look. Don't let the fear of imperfection keep your real voice on mute.
We're proud of you for listening, for reflecting, and most of all, for trying. And if Clara can go from freezing in meetings to ordering coffee without thinking twice, so can you.
If this episode helped you, share it with someone who also freezes up before speaking. Maybe you two can become speaking partners and practice together, just like Clara and I did.
Thanks so much for spending this time with us. Keep talking, even when it's just one small sentence.
This has been the Real English Podcast. I'm Sophia.
And I'm Liam. Take care of yourselves.
And keep going.
We'll see you in the next episode. Bye.